morning, everybody. I am back with another video today. We are going to be diving deeper into Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7, and try to look at my commentary and find some practical ways to apply these passages when dealing with anxiety. We're going to talk about how to pray and have gratitude and trust in God. I am not an expert, so what I am doing is I went through my commentary and pulled some notes from it that I want to discuss. I rely heavily on my commentary still because I don't trust myself to interpret everything perfectly. So if you're the same, I feel for you. I want to get to that point where I can kind of not lean so much on the commentary, especially because commentaries some of them are giving you the historical information, but some of them are giving you their opinion on the passage, and everyone's opinion can differ when interpreting. So it's just kind of, I think commentaries are just kind of a guidance. But yes, let's move on. And by the way, I'm Alexia. If you're new to the channel, I do Bible study videos and review Christian living books, and everything's kind of geared towards mental health. I originally started this channel just to kind of get over my social anxiety, because you are speaking to people even though they're not right in front of you. But then I realized I want to use this channel to help other people as well. So let's read the verses we are focusing on again. Not again, because we haven't read them yet in the video, but I will read it again. Okay. Don't worry about anything, but in everything, through prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So what my commentary was saying was praying this way, in the way that verse 6 is telling us, you'll experience calm in the midst of your chaos. So I'm going to go over some points that my commentary said. I've got my little notebook here. So my commentary was saying every time we begin to worry, we should see that as a call from God telling us it's time to pray. And my commentary was also discussing the more you worry, the less you pray, and the more you pray, the less you worry. I can attest to the first one, because when I am waking up with really bad anxiety or depression, the last thing I want to do is pull out my Bible, read it. The last thing I want to do is pray. And when I am in those moments where I feel like I can't spit words out to friends and family, much less to God, I go to God and tell him that. I just tell him that exactly, like, God, I don't have the words, and I know you know what's in my heart, but I don't have the words. So please, read what's in my heart and mind, and, can we connect that way? That's the kind of praying I do when I'm really worrying about something. The commentary did not lie. The more you worry, the less you pray. And, there is something to say for the more you pray, the less you worry as well, but that's not realistic for people who suffer with mental illness, because, we're going to worry about something regardless. The idea is to just go to God when you're feeling that way, though, in my view. It was also saying, my commentary was saying, prayer is the umbrella word under which Paul includes petition with thanksgiving. And the commentary goes on to say our petitions must be specific. We should tell God, 1, what we are worried about and ask for his help, and 2, to deal with anxiety, make sure your petitions are precise and get real with God. So these are very practical ways, especially if you're feeling the way I was discussing a moment ago about not knowing what to say. If you can muster up enough energy to tell him what you're worried about. And I don't want to make it seem like everybody knows exactly what they're worrying about, because with anxiety, sometimes there is no one specific thing that you're worried about. That's one thing I struggle with when I'm telling people about my anxiety that I'm feeling, and they're like, well, what's going on? What's wrong that's making you worry? And it's hard to explain to them that, well, there's nothing, there's no one thing specifically. I'm just a ball of worry and panic. So, number 1, what we are worried about and ask for his help. If you don't know what you're worried about, you could just say, God, I'm feeling very uneasy. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling depressed, and I'm not sure the reason. And tell him how you're feeling. Get, like the commentary said, get real with God. There's been previous Bible studies where it says, don't be afraid to tell God exactly how you feel. I have found that helps tremendously. So let's see what other notes I made. It says, making requests with thanksgiving can seem hard when you're dealing with a problem that won't go away. But Paul is telling us to give thanks, not for the problem itself, but for the God we are inviting into our specific problem. So that is a very good point there, and I kind of want to drive that one home. Being thankful doesn't mean ignoring the suffering you're going through. It just means trying to find one thing to be thankful for in the midst of that chaos. So if you can't find anything to be thankful for, you can at least thank God for the opportunity to invite him into your specific problem that you're asking for help with. And another thing I try to remind myself when it seems like there's just nothing to be thankful for, my life is in shambles with my anxiety and depression, and I've got some cleaning up to do in this mess I've made in my life due to the anxiety and depression. I sometimes find it hard to be thankful, but I always start my prayers in the morning with thanking God for waking me up another morning and thanking him for the roof over my head and just simple things that you can find to be thankful for. I used to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and I liked what they used to do when they had dinner. They would talk about the peak and pits of their days, because we do need to kind of sandwich it a little bit. We can vent about the bad, but also acknowledge the good. So I liked how they as a family would do that. They would say something that not, great happened. It was their pit, but then they would say their peak. So what good happened in that day? And hopefully in every single day, one of you can find at least one good thing to be thankful for. But I think that practice would be good to practice with God as well. I used to work with children, and my boss called it a sandwich. This was years ago. I was like 19, but she called it a sandwich. So when the kid had done something bad, and you needed to tell the parents, you would start out with something good the kid did that day, then say the not so great thing, and then end it with another positive thing that the child did. Because for every negative, there should be at least one positive throughout the day. If there's not, I'm so sorry that your day went that way. I really am. So it would be good to practice that type of prayer with God. You can start it out, thanking Him for waking you up, thanking Him for the roof over your head, telling Him your problem, and then thanking Him again for listening to you and being there for you. That's how I try to have my prayers be. Sometimes it ends up more babbling than anything, but I do think some of the stuff the commentary said was very good advice. Let me see if there's anything else it said. So it does say, praying in that way, in the don't worry about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Praying that way, you'll experience calm in the midst of chaos. You will know God heard your prayer, not necessarily because the problem is solved, but because of the peace that God gives you. And again, I'm reading from the commentary. Please don't think I am smart and just coming up with that on the fly. But that is a good point the commentary made. I do feel peace after prayer, and like the commentary said, it's not necessarily because the problem is solved, but because of the peace that God gives you. And then my commentary goes on to say, Paul calls it a peace that surpasses all understanding, because even we won't entirely understand how we're able to have peace in light of some of the troubles we experience. Nevertheless, this peace guards our hearts and minds. It's as if God put soldiers and sentries around our feelings and our thoughts. So I found these verses very helpful. And again, these are verses that everyone knows. It's a very popular one, and I'm sure everyone watching the video has heard it, but I've never broken it down and really thought about it the way my commentary allowed me to. So I hope you guys got something out of this as well. And just a reminder, some of the stuff I said did come from my own thoughts, but most of everything I was reading off of came from the Tony Evans Bible commentary. So you can thank Tony Evans for, in most part, for this Bible study, or this verse study today. I hope you guys got something out of this. And just a reminder, I think I've said this on every video so far, but I do have my email and my Instagram in the description box of this video, and it's not because I want a bunch of followers. It's because if any of you are suffering the way I am right now with your mental health, I am not a therapist, so I cannot give you any practical, super good advice, but I can give you an ear. I can lend an ear to listen, and we can vent to each other, and you can just know that you're not alone in your struggles. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. It's Monday at the time of recording this, and I pray that you all have a great week, and God bless.